Good morning. I just wanted to talk about a few things that have come up in our introductions, and I figured that I'm going to be adding value and enriching all of you as much as I possibly can, and I know our panelists are going to be doing the same. And so something that has come up that I thought I would bring up, and I'm going to be sharing a kind of just one slide sort of cliff notes about all the things that we're going to talk about after I conclude this video. But I wanted to just provide you and enrich you with some time blocking tips and strategies of success that work really well for me. Hi, Kelly. And I want to talk about a couple myths because this is really going to help us all set up for success for this 30 days. Because the idea is, will change happen if I stay the same? No, it won't. We have to make true conscious efforts to make changes and make those sustainable habits become the normal routine for us. Hello. And by doing that, we're establishing a routine. And by establishing routine, that brings comfort, that reduces anxiety, and that manages expectations from a caregiver perspective, as well as from just an internal personal perspective, for ourselves, because we have to manage ourselves, and then we are responsible for giving care to our children, our spouse, other people in our home that are relying on us. And so that starts with us. So these are first we're going to talk about a few little myths. Hi, Tiff. And then we're going to talk about what time blocking is, how can you start, and just a couple other little recommendations and little amazing tips that can help you. Because I want us to take this time this week, which is sort of an on-ramping period between now and Sunday when we truly start, where everyone's going to start using their oil blends or taking the DDR internally. And I want to give you as many strategies that you can employ in advance to really help set you up for success. So a couple myths. And you can comment if you think this way, or if you used to think this way. This is a judgment-free zone. This is a safe place for you to share, but you can comment or put up a 1 or just say me too or whatever if any of these myths resonate with you. So the first myth is that multitasking means I'm efficient. So multitasking, it is a myth that multitasking is better. When you are multitasking, you are less efficient because you are splitting your focus among several different things. So how does it feel when you're sitting at the dinner table with someone and they're on their phone, and their eyes are on their phone and they're saying, right, yeah, I agree, that's cool. That doesn't make you feel very good. First of all, they're not truly getting everything you're saying. Secondly, they're not truly focused on whatever they're doing on their phone, so they're giving both of you half of their focus. Hi, Mary. Hi, Dee. And so it's really important to be mindful about your multitasking and how it's actually affecting you, the people in your lives, and what you're trying to give part of your energy to. So you want people to respect you and your time, and you want to respect other people and other people's time as well. So the first myth that I want to bust is that multitasking means you're being efficient, because you're actually being less efficient because you're giving half of your focus to 2 things. Whereas if you truly give your focus to one thing, you can get that thing done faster, more efficiently, and then boom, you can move on to the next thing that you want to do. So another myth that is kind of along the same lines of that is I'm more effective when I'm multitasking. So many people, and it's become socially acceptable to say, oh, I can do so many things at once. I'm awesome. I'm a super mom. And it's like, actually, no, that affects your ability to do things well because you're not really paying attention to all the details. And Tiffany's saying that you used to think multitasking was efficient, especially as a teacher. I definitely had to change that because I wasn't helping anyone. Exactly, Tiffany. Tiffany is right on the head with that one. So the next one is that I never have enough time to get everything done. If you find yourself saying that, we are going to work through establishing healthier boundaries, because if you are feeling like that, it means that there are a lot of things that are taking up your time that probably you could either delegate to someone else, you could have a helper to help you, or novel concept, say no and take it off your plate. When I started establishing healthier boundaries, my anxiety reduced, my relationships became deeper. I was able to truly focus on those things and those people that brought me joy in my life, and I was able to say no to the things that did not resonate with me anymore, that brought me anxiety, that made me feel overwhelmed, that made me feel obligated to do those things. And that is so important to our healing journey and to our ability to focus, our ability to have clarity of mind and thought, and really enrich the people around us with our own presence when we are committed to giving that energy and that focus to them, because we're eliminating the noise around us. So we're going to talk about all those things through the 30 days. We're going to talk about a lot of things, but all of these really tie into using our oils, creating that pathway for us, and that use of the oil 3 times a day is going to create a new habit, a new pattern where you are practicing self-care by saying, I matter to me. I care about myself, I care about others, and I'm willing to make this a priority for 30 days because it matters to me. And I can't make progress, I can't change if I'm going to stay the same. I have to change my actions, I have to change my thought process, and that is going to give me incredible results. Boundaries are so important, and Tiffany is agreeing and saying that people respect you more when you have firm boundaries. It helps you have balance, which brings you peace. It is so true. And when we respect ourselves, we demand that respect from others. But if we do not respect ourselves and we are just saying yes to everyone, that means we're saying no to us. And that's not going to help us feel more focused, feel more clear, feel more balanced, and reduce anxiety. And we want to do all of those things, especially with our children who have heightened anxiety or who are on the spectrum. It is even more important to have healthier boundaries because we need to show up to each day our best to provide support and be their caregiver. So hopefully these strategies will help you. So those are just a couple myths that we wanted to bust at first. Next, I'm going to talk about briefly what is time blocking. So if you've ever heard of time blocking, maybe you don't know what it is, but I want you to try this. Try it until Sunday. See if it works for you. See how it transforms your sense of productivity. It is going to take your life up a notch. It is going to take your productivity up a notch. It is going to reduce your anxiety, which is going to make you feel more clear, more happy, more boundaried, and more grounded. So time blocking is a way of managing your time and energy in a productive way to reduce your anxious feelings and the idea of feeling overwhelmed. So how do we start time blocking? Well, number one is by establishing healthy boundaries and learning to say no. When your priorities are aligned, it helps you figure out what needs to be done. So one of the things that I have done to create and establish healthy boundaries is by having groceries delivered to me. Now, I know this isn't possible for everybody, but if in your area you have either a grocery delivery option or you have an option to have your groceries packed for you and you can pick them up curbside, a lot of grocery stores are doing this. And I know this might seem silly and you might be thinking, how is grocery shopping linked to our efficiency and our time blocking? But the truth of the matter is that hours and hours a week and hours a month and hours a year add up. And the time that we are spending grocery shopping, especially if our children have sensory processing disorders, especially if our children are on the spectrum, especially if our children are very sensitive to light, to sound, to crowds, to being overstimulated, the grocery store is a very overstimulating place. It can make you feel very overwhelmed. There's lines, there's crowds, there's noise, there's smells, there's colors, there's a lot of things going on. And you can eliminate so much frustration in your life if you can bless someone else with the opportunity to provide you this service so that you can have more time in your day to do all those other things that you want to do, so that you can sit and have that focused time with your children for homework time, or prepare your meals in advance so that you're not rushing around eating the wrong things that are then exacerbating your child's mood disorders and behaviors. So one of the things that I did was that. Now, also, if you can block your time and either do this in the evening or do this in the morning, you can practice the Lamazing Rule of 3. So the Lamazing Rule of 3 is something that I teach my oilers, something that I teach my business builders, something that I encourage everybody to do, whether this is talking about your own wellness goals or we're talking about fitness or nutrition or anything, your amazing rule of 3. So what you're going to do is, let's see, Tiffany's saying, I know sometimes I hear moms say that going to the store gives them a good break. Let's change that delivery of your food or curbside and use that new time for better self-care. Exactly. Now there's nothing wrong with having a break, but truly going to the grocery store is not an act of self-care, because you're doing that for your family, you're doing that for somebody else. An act of self-care is going to have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea by yourself, going for a walk, doing exercise, practicing yoga, meditating, taking a bath, getting a pedicure or a manicure, or going and asking a friend to bless you with an aroma touch treatment. Those are acts of self-care. Going to Target to pick up everything that your family needs is not an act of self-care. That doesn't mean it's not time by yourself, but that's not time where you're filling your cup because you're there doing things for other people. So but however that looks for you, I'm not here to dictate to you what to do and how to live your life. I'm just simply sharing with you some techniques that I think are really helpful for you to get more balance back in your life. So the amazing rule of 3, you can do this before you go to bed. You can do this on Sunday night and set it up for the week, or you can do it in the morning after your kids have gone to school or camp, or if they're home when you have a moment of quiet, or even get up before them, and figure out the 3 absolute most important things that must happen today, or the world will not continue. And I say that to be dramatic, yes, but also so that you realize that, okay, if you have a long to-do list of 100 things, don't tell me that all 100 of those things absolutely must get done today. No, they don't. Some of those things should get done today, and it would be nice if they got done today, but they're not. It is not realistic for all those things to get done today. So if you pick 3, you are going to feel so accomplished, such a confidence boost, such a self-esteem boost to you when you are realizing how much you can get done by just doing those 3 things. And my hope is that one of those 3 things will be an act of self-care. So for me, my morning starts with helping get my daughter ready for her day, get her dressed and fed and brush teeth and help her make her bed and get her taken to camp. And then when I get back, before I start my work day, I exercise. And that is on my calendar every single day, Monday through Sunday. It is a recurring calendar invite. It is a meeting with me. So I do my exercise and I listen to my body. If that's stretching, if it's a boot camp workout, whatever it is, I have a designated intentional space in my home, and it doesn't need to be a large space, just somewhere where you can stretch out and do what you need to do. If that means going outside in your backyard to do it, do whatever that means for you. You don't have to have a gym membership. You can download free workouts online or stream them from YouTube. But all that is a self-care time for me, so that before I'm doing things for everyone else, I'm doing something for me also. And that gives me clarity. It makes me feel more creative. It makes me feel like my time is not at everyone else's whim, that I am doing something to make me feel validated and important, so that I can then pour into everybody else. So dividing up your tasks in 3 categories. One of them is planning. So what activities in your day today are going to require some time for planning? Your meals, your lunches, your activities, any things that you have coming up, travel or work commitments or meetings or content that you need to share for whatever you might be doing. The second one is executing time. So time that it's going to actually take you to be doing these things. So you can be planning on what you're going to make for dinner all week long, but you need to factor in time to actually prepare the dinner itself, cook it, prepare it, clean, wash it, put everything away, and then be done with it. So there's planning time, there's executing time, and then there's event time, where you'll actually be gone somewhere and you'll be away from your office hours, or you'll be away from that productivity where you'll be, spending time with people, or you'll be teaching a class, or you'll be at work, or you'll be doing whatever things are actual designated events. So if you can prioritize and schedule those most important tasks first, and then complete anything, even if it's, go through your bills and pay bills and it takes you 10 minutes. What you can do is set a timer, set a reminder, put your devices on airplane mode. Airplane mode is your friend. Do not disturb mode is your absolute friend. It is not emergent that you respond to a Facebook message or a text message or an email, because you know what? Those people that are sending you messages or asking you for things are placing more demands on your time, and that creates anxiety. So instead of feeling obligated to do that right away, you get something accomplished for your day that makes you feel great, that makes you feel a little bit of reduced anxiety, that you've gotten something done, you feel productive, you're in the zone, the momentum's there. It gives you that drive to do more and get something else off of your list and complete something else that you've done. So if you can set the timer or set a reminder and say, okay, paying my bills or, preparing the meal plan is going to take X amount of time. So you need to set your timer for that amount of time. If it's 10 minutes, if it's 30 minutes, if it's 45 minutes, I wouldn't set anything longer than 30 or 45 minutes because it's just human nature. You're going to get distracted and you're going to need a break mentally. And so typically, 30 to 40 minutes of really focused time is a totally realistic expectation as a caregiver, as the parent. Now, we are also managing all our different personality challenges and strengths and everything. So this is cater this toward you, what works for you. If a 20-minute block of time is more realistic, then shoot for 20 minutes. If a 10-minute block of time is more realistic, shoot for 10 minutes. But for that 10 minutes, you're only gonna do this one task. You cannot open up any other tabs. You cannot check your phone. You cannot check your Instagram stories. Don't take that that little trip into the rabbit hole, so to speak. You're down the rabbit hole and then 5 minutes turns into 30, and then next thing you know, you're feeling rushed because you have to get out the door and you didn't get the things done that you wanted to do. And when we're talking about focus, when we're talking about mental acuity and being really in that zone of focus, we need to set ourselves up for success. And so for me, time blocking has been an amazingly powerful tool for me because I'm producing Periscopes every week, and that requires hours and hours of preparation time, researching recipes, testing recipes, making sure I have all the ingredients that I need, ordering supplies that I need, making sure they arrive on time, testing out different things, setting things up, tearing things down, setting up lighting, printing out the notes, having my notes set up for me, making sure that everything I want to talk about is clear. There are so many elements that go into the execution of one thing, that if you break out that thing into different tasks, like creating the notes, creating the recipes, testing out the recipes, executing the actual demo itself, there are so many elements of that one event that are required that if I had to do that all in one time, that would not work for me because there were so many other things that are pulling my time. So all of that to just simplify and say, if you have one project that you're working on, breaking it out into categories of planning, executing, and event time, and then just figuring out your rule of 3. What are the 3 things that I absolutely need to do today? What are those things? And I challenge you, after you watch this video, I want you to practice the amazing rule of 3. And I'm gonna be super proud of you because I can't wait to see how you feel and how you do that. But that's what we're gonna be doing this whole month of July. We're gonna be challenging you, pushing you to your edge, helping you get out of your comfort zone in a safe space for healing where you are not going to be judged. No one's going to say, oh, you didn't do that well enough, you didn't do that the right way. This is just a suggestion that really works for me, and it really works for a lot of the people that I support in my oil family. When they come to me and say they want to improve their sleep, we talk about sleep hygiene, all the different things that you can do to set yourself up for good sleep, and we divide that into 3 things. So there's 3, just making it so simple that we just give you 3 things, because with more than that, you're gonna get overwhelmed. And with less than that, you might not feel like you're productive. So if you can do 3 things for your sleep, 3 things for your productivity, 3 things for your meal planning for your family, 3 things that are really fun with your children. Break up everything in your life into just this simple rule of 3, and it really will make you feel like you can master time and space a lot better, and that you'll feel less anxious when it comes to living your life. The other thing is your environment. So decluttering and creating an intentional space. And again, I can only speak for me when I say that for me, I need a decluttered space. My focus is not, I just cannot focus if things around me are chaotic. If there's piles of things everywhere, if there's laundry that's unfolded, it will make me so just out of control, not out of control, but I won't be able to focus. I'll be thinking about all that laundry that needs to get folded. So if I just take 10 minutes, fold that laundry, it's off my list, I can check that off, feel accomplished, and say, wow, I feel so accomplished, that's off my list, it's not bothering me anymore, so my mind can be clear with all the things that I wanna do. So decluttering your environment, creating an intentional space, whether it's on the kitchen table, whether it's at the kitchen counter, whether it's in your office or in your bedroom or on your porch, in your backyard, at Starbucks, wherever you can find intentional space, create that. Also, I like white noise. Either I have my diffuser going or I'll have a fan on. I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of construction equipment because they're still building some of the final homes. So there's background noise, and I need quiet. I need quiet to focus, but I also need white noise. So for me, those are my things that set me up for success. I want you to think about the things that you need to help set you up for success. So that during this 30 days, as you're using your oils morning, noon, and night, in the background, that oil is supporting you by creating these new pathways. Something like making sure the TV is off. A lot of people like the TV on in the background for background noise, but it's not really healthy for your focus, because you're gonna start to pinpoint something that you're hearing from the TV and it's gonna take your focus away. So if you can try to maybe establish a new routine, like maybe music without words, make sure you have comfortable clothing on, make sure you're not too hot, you're not too cold, make sure you have your water, make sure you've eaten a snack, that you have your paper and pen, or that you have some sort of planning mechanism. I like the dough planner, but if you like a spiral notebook, something that's actually tangible, it really will help you with your focus and with your intentions when you can write it down and you have that visual representation. A lot of people, even when they switch to reading books digitally, like on the Kindle, they find that when they're reading actual paper books, their retention goes up a lot. It's just, you know, it is the human nature. So if you have not gotten a planner or a notebook or a journal to prepare for the month of July with us, I would highly recommend doing that. And you can just make notes. You can work on your amazing rule of 3 every day, keep us posted with your progress and how that's going. But if we don't change, we will not see differences in our habits and the way we feel. So we have to be intentional creators of changing those pathways in our lives, those things that stress us out, the things that make us feel overwhelmed. I don't have time to get everything done. I can't possibly do all those things. That if I'm not multitasking, I'm not being efficient. These are all myths that I want us to bust during this time. And then some other little oil tips: diffuse some calming oils or oils that are emotionally supporting or helping you focus, like wild orange and peppermint. That's a really great combination. Any of the citrus oils are going to be really great for helping boost your creativity, your focus, which is why wild orange is one of the oils in DDR Prime. And on Sunday, we're going to go over all the oils in the blend. But things like lime or citrus bliss, those are great. Also, do a self-care check. How is your water intake? If you haven't gone to the bathroom lately, you're not drinking enough water, and that's going to help with your mental focus. It's going to help with your gut health. It's going to help with everything, with your immune system, all of those things that are going to help you be productive in your day. Have you taken your vitamins? Have you taken your probiotics? Are you supporting your gut health? Gut health is linked to our emotions. So especially if you have children, you want to make sure they're doing their probiotic every day, the Pediassist Junior, that you're taking your digestive enzymes before bed, that your kids are taking their vitamins. This allows us and them to create that habit, that routine, and allow our mind and body to operate at its best. And I know that for me, I like to keep my emotional oils handy right by my office. So I have the Forgive Renewing Blend, and I have Motivate, the Energizing Blend, and I have Cheer, the Uplifting Blend, and I have Forgive, I have Peace, the Reassuring Blend, and I have Console, the Comforting Blend, and Passion, the Inspiring Blend. So I like to keep these by the door and near my office so that when we're leaving, if Olivia needs a little bit of emotional support, if I need a little bit of emotional support, if George needs a little bit of emotional support, we have the tools available at the ready for us. So hopefully some of these myth-busting techniques and some of these things like the amazing rule of 3 will help you and set you up for success and teach you how to time block. Stop feeling like multitasking is the only way that you should be operating. Think of multitasking as the devil, because multitasking is pulling you away from what you really want to be focused on. And especially when we're with our kids, we want to be focused on what they're doing and being there in the moment. And then when it's time to have our time of working on whatever our tasks are for the day, that we can not worry about anything else because we're just focused on one particular task. So that is my challenge to you. I am throwing down the gauntlet. That is your call to action for the rest of this week between now and Sunday. And if you want to continue continue with it during the whole month of July. I can't wait to see your progress, and I hope you will share that with me. And I'll be asking you when we do our weekly check-ins, how is your amazing rule of 3 going? How is it going for you time blocking? Because as Tiffany and I are welcoming you into the group, and all of our other amazing panelists are welcoming you into the group, I'm starting to see a pattern where many of you are feeling overwhelmed by all that you have to get done, because all of these people in your lives are relying on you as their caretaker. And so it is important that we figure out our baseline for the day so that we aren't going through our day confused, flailing, overwhelmed, feeling scattered, like we have no idea what we should be doing. Every day should have intention. You should know exactly what you need to get done today. And then once those things get done, anything else that you can accomplish is an absolute bonus. So I hope this was helpful for you. Comment if you have questions. If you need more support about time blocking, we can go dig deeper into that. But I just wanted to scratch the surface, and I will upload the just the one slide that I have prepared so you can kind of review it and look at it later. So hopefully this was helpful for you, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.